It's time to mind your business with me, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in to find out how to mind your business with BEDC, special guest entrepreneurs, industry experts, and more. Brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda business starts here. So welcome to Mind Your Business. I'm your host, Jamillah Lodge, and you are Trina Seymour, founder of Seymour Stories. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So I'm excited to have a conversation with you because you recently won our Pitch Perfect contest. So we're going to get into that a little bit more. But before we get started, why don't you give us a little background about yourself?
Okay, so as you said, my name's Trina and I am a behavior therapist. I'm a mom first, so everything I do is really based around my children. I love adventures, I love exploring, I love learning. I like to say I'm a lifelong learner, and I really just want to instill that same thing into my children. The best way to do that is have fun, right?
Right.
And then, as a behavior therapist, I get to visit a lot of these schools. I get to interact with children of all developmental levels. So that's very exciting as well.
All right. I love it. So in terms of your work with children, what is it that you love most about that?
I love that I can still be a child, I guess you could say. So if anyone that's seen me out there, I'm playing with the children. I'm playing football, we're playing tag. I'm trying to do this crazy dance things that they're doing. There's no limitation to what I will do with my clients or with children in general. So yep, I'm that almost 40-year-old doing cartwheels on the field with them.
That you can still do it at 40
yes.
is like, that's already good.
So that's what I love the most, is that I can still stay very active in my job, and then obviously just seeing their progress and their behaviors change, that is most rewarding, because I will go from a child who's possibly screaming, kicking, hitting to someone who's saying, you're frustrating me right now.
Right.
And so seeing that is just completely rewarding in itself.
So it sounds like it's play therapy, so to speak. Is that, would you say that, or how do you?
For me personally, yes. I wouldn't necessarily say it's play therapy for behavior therapists, but that's how I best relate to my clients.
Okay.
So even I work for intuition, so even within the business, our personalities are different. So what you get from me, you won't get from my colleague, but what equally as important, equally doing great work, great changes. And I think it's good for our clients as well, because you don't always meet someone that's bubbly and fun.
Right.
And not every client loves bubbly and fun. I've had to learn to turn it down for some of my clients as well.
That's interesting.
So, for me, it's more like play therapy, but that's because of my personality and how I best relate to the children.
Okay. So did you always know that you would be in this space, like even growing up, or did something happen and you were like, this is the space that I need to be in?
I always knew I would work with children. I have a lot of family members that's in education, whether it's nursery, school teachers. So I always been around children. I think that's just kind of where I was leaning. I wanted to be a drama teacher, believe it or not. So I actually went
acting drama?
Yes.
Okay.
I went to school to be a drama and education teacher. Through that, I wasn't getting any scholarships, so I switched majors and did child and youth, and through that I did an autism program. And then I had to do a practicum, which basically immersed me into special needs. It serviced children with different needs, different levels of needs, and that's when I was like, okay, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I did end up switching majors, like I said, and focusing mainly on children with autism. And then I came back to Bermuda and worked at Tomorrow's Voices, which is an ABA clinic. So from there, it's for me. I really can't see myself doing anything else.
I love that. I mean, it's so heartwarming to see someone doing what they love.
Yes.
And being able to make a living from it, but also allowing yourself to move into another space, right?
Yeah.
And that brings us to Seymour Stories.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about that and like how you came up with this idea.
Okay, so Seymour Stories came about like I said, I work in a lot of schools, and so this particular one, I was at MSA in the Early Learners Program, and the teachers, Miss Amara and Ms. Wicks, amazing teachers, they were teaching Bermuda heritage and culture because it was the month of May, and the books that they were reading, they were about Bermuda, but we couldn't always tell that they were written by a Bermudian per se.
Okay.
So it was kind of, we found ourselves explaining more of what the book was trying to portray, and then the children would make the connections. So in my mind, I was like, if I can find better connections, I'm going to write a book. And so I started with the dictionary, and it was the letter X. I said, if I can find a word for X,
Yes.
I'm writing this dictionary. And that's how it started.
Oh, did you find the word?
I did.
What's the word?
So Xeno is friendly people, which we are.
Yeah.
And then xerophytic plants.
Yes.
I hope I said that right. But those are just the wiki wonders that we have, the aloe vera, basically any of those plants with the spikes that can survive in heat
Yes.
with less water.
Okay.
So, yeah, we hit the
Look,
ground
I
running.
learned something today.
Yeah, we hit the ground running with that one.
Okay.
So it came about 3 years ago, just slowly building on it. And then I kind of got stuck because I didn't know where to go for publication. But then the Women's Resource Center, very, very resourceful, they put on programs and classes all the time, and they put on a writer's workshop with the young girl to publish whatever you wrote in the workshop.
Yes.
And I said, this is for me. And so I signed up for that, and Sloan Johnson was the facilitator.
Yes.
Shout out to Sloan. She's amazing too.
She is amazing.
So she's been my backbone, really, like advice, pushing me, encouragement when I'm like, oh, I'm hit a brick wall.
Yeah.
All the ladies in the workshop really were there for motivation and support. So I'm very, very grateful for that.
I love that because you were able to take this idea and with support, turn it into reality.
Yes, and in addition to that, I did want to take full advantage of the class, and because the dictionary was already written, that's where I was able to write my second book with Sloan's help and all of that as well. So that's where the second one came from.
What's the second one?
It's called Blooming Gifts, and so it's about two young girls who go around the island on a flower hunt, pretty much, and they're picking local flowers, they're explaining what you can use them for, and they're repurposing the flowers into gifts for a Mother's Day present.
Oh, that is so sweet.
Right, and so with that, the children can go pick the Bermudiana and make a bookmark with it, because I have that in the book, hibiscus tea. So they'll know that they can go pick the hibiscus and make the tea. If they want to make the tea with the parents at the end of the book, then by all means go ahead and do that. But those are things that we do in our culture, and these guys don't really know that all the time, right? So I'm just trying to put this little cultural things back into our classroom.
I love that. Like you said, in that early learners program, you were doing it a bit, but there was a lack of connection. There was something missing, right?
Yeah.
And so hopefully the books that you are writing will fill that gap.
Yeah.
So how do you see your books being used? Like,
well, so I hope that they're used in the classroom,
Right.
especially when teaching about our heritage, our culture. I've designed it. I have recipes in my dictionary, right? So even in the middle school level, the family studies teacher can take my dictionary and say, do codfish and potatoes, do fish chowder, do Johnny bread, like all of that's in there. How to make a Bermuda kite. So a lot of people with just socioeconomic issues, right? Single parents, may not have a father. That's where you learn how to make the kites and stuff, right? There are some moms like me that know how to make a kite, but reality is most times you're going to your daddy or your papa or your uncle, right? And unfortunately, unfortunately, we're in times where some children just really don't have that. So in my book, I have a step-by-step clear guide on how to build a Bermuda kite. It's 2 pages long. It is literally step-by-step, and you can do that. So I'm really just trying to fill all the gaps that I see, whether it's in school, whether it's home life, wherever it is, I'm just trying to fill it.
So where is this book?
Okay, so right now...
I'm like, where is it?
It is in the absolute final stages. I have the author's copy. my beta reader has the author's copy. They're doing the final edits.
Yes.
And so when I get that back, I'll do the final changes and then I'll print them. I'm hoping to have them by the start of school in September.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I really can't put a timeline on things. I am receiving help. They're not charging me for the services to edit my book, so I'm not putting pressure on them. I'm just like, thank you very much. But that comes with doing things out of pocket, right?
Yes.
And without any investments or anything like that right now. So that's fine with me. When it comes, it's going to be amazing. I do want it to just come out and be ready. I don't want to rush it or find little mistakes after I've printed a whole bunch and stuff like that.
That's the worst.
Yeah,
that's why you need the editor.
I am getting very antsy, but I just keep saying to myself, the end product will be exactly what you want.
Yes. So in terms of distribution, right?
Yeah.
So have you already identified how you want to distribute it? Like, to me, I'm thinking, hello, Ministry of Education. Like, you need to purchase these for all of your schools, right? Maybe having an outlet in Brown & Co., selling it online, direct to consumer. Like, have you given that thought?
Yes. So I did my own publications through Amazon KDP.
Okay.
So once I print the bulk of it, 3 days later, it automatically goes on Amazon, and so you can just go on Amazon and order it. I do want to do a launching party here where I will sell, have a venue and sell the books for the first time. Again, Sloan, amazing. Through the workshop, she's made connections with, I believe it's Brown & Co. and the Bermuda bookstore. So once our books are ready, we just reach out to them for distribution. And thanks to Pitch Perfect, Classic Kids has also offered a spot for me to sell my books in her store as well, which is amazing because that's a children's clothing store, right?
Correct.
So those are some of the things that I have. If all goes to plan and I have a few more books by next summer, I do want to look into a vending for Harbor Night. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's also something I'm looking forward to for next year.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely think that, especially the dictionary, will be a great sell to tourists who come visit the island. But even the book, what is it called? Blooming
Gifts.
Blooming Gifts, because I'm thinking, I have friends visiting, and they have a son. And it will be nice for them to be able to go around and identify the flora and the fauna that you mentioned in the book. And it could be like an activity and all of that. So I think there's huge opportunity there. I'm going to go back to Pitch Perfect and just talk about why. Why did you decide to enter?
Okay, so if I'm being honest, financial.
It was the money. Okay, note to self.
It was the money. It's just, like I said, I'm doing everything out of pocket, and I was just like, $1,000. Oh my goodness, maybe that can go to illustration. It could really, honestly, what I might be using it for now is actually paying for the books to purchase them in bulk, because that's over $1,000 as well, right? If I want to bring in at least 100, that's over $1,000.
Yeah.
So that was my main reason. But then I read through it, and the style of it caught my attention, the speed dating style, and then getting that immediate feedback. And it was exactly what I imagined, I guess, in the sense of the experts didn't have much time either, so they really had to give me what was important. And so for me, I avoided all the fluff. Yeah. And it got down to the nitty gritty, and so that, that.
You know, I want to ask you to do your pitch, right? You know, I want to.
Oh my goodness.
I know I didn't prepare you in advance, but I really want you to do it if you can. Okay.
Right now?
Yes.
Okay. Oh my goodness. All right. Okay. Hey, have you ever had a fun Bermuda-based textbook before? Probably not.
No.
My name's Trina, and my business, Seymour Stories, focuses on creating culturally grounded children's books that celebrate Bermuda. I'm a behavior therapist, and I work in the classrooms, and while there, I saw a need. Many of the books in the classroom do not reflect our culture in a real or engaging way, and this is why I created the Bermuda Dictionary for Children. Now, this dictionary goes beyond definitions. I have recipes, how-to guides, interviews, just little hidden gems that are going to celebrate our life here in Bermuda. Since starting the business in January, I wanted it to grow with a collection, so my next title, Blooming Gifts, follows two young girls on a flower hunt around the island. This is teaching our local children about flowers and how to use them.
No.
Sorry. One of my biggest challenges, however, was illustration, and I'm currently using AI as a budget-friendly tool. Unfortunately, it lacks that authenticity that I really want to capture in my books. And so with the prize money, I wanted to get a Bermudian illustrator who can truly get the essence of our island home.
What? I love that. Like, I really got goosebumps when you were talking. No, that was awesome.
No, thank you.
It's apparent why you won, right?
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I feel like there's an emotional response to what you said.
Yeah.
And I think that probably is what made you the top pick amongst the judges. That was awesome. Thank you for that. I know I put you on the spot and you didn't prepare, but that's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
And as you think about that, I mean, for us, you were pitching for BEDC to an organization, but those could barely be investors, right?
Yeah, no, you're right. And the feedback they gave to me was amazing. A lot of them did give, like, positive feedback as far as the pitch and as far as the book and moving along with it. So that was encouraging, especially because I still had quite a few people to go through. But the best advice for me came from, she was a lawyer. I can't remember what exactly she done, but she had, as a teenager, she drew pictures for the Audubon Society for a book that they did. And she said she's still very proud of herself for it. It's still in distribution today, so you can go to like the Bermuda bookstore and purchase it. So just seeing how proud she was even years later, I love doing that for my children. And just as an example, at Pitch Perfect, I did have a past student when I was in government. I've never had fake hair, but she wanted to be a hairdresser at the time. And so I said, well, buy fake hair, girl. You could do my hair. And she did that. And so now, years later at Pitch Perfect, she's like, you remember me? You let me put fake hair in your head. I'm like, yes, girl. But that's me.
I love that.
Me. If you're a child, if you're a student, and you tell me you want to do something, I'm going 100 with it. And she doesn't want to be a hairdresser now. She's pursuing to be a lawyer, which is going to be amazing, whatever she does. But she can still fall back on being a hairdresser, do it on the side, all of that type of stuff. So whether they want to do it when they get older or not, it's irrelevant to me. If you want to do it right now, we're going to explore it, and that's what we're going to do.
And I love that, because at the end of the day, it's about supporting that, whatever that sparkle that you have. You know what I mean? Whatever it is that is appealing to you now, and not squashing it, right? You're igniting it. And whether she, like you said, continues to do hair or not, that experience that she can do it, that someone's willing to support her, I think helped her to say, okay, well, if I could do that, I can be, a lawyer. That is awesome. That's a great, whole cycle story, right?
It was.
So no, I loved your pitch. I love the fact that you are looking to support other potential entrepreneurs, artists, and that sort of thing. So even if you use the funds to get the books, I would imagine that you're still looking for an illustrator.
Yes.
And so for those who are listening and you have some skills and you want to be part of this wonderful project, then I would definitely encourage them to reach out to you. So what's the best way to get in touch with you?
So I've just recently started an Instagram page, probably like 2 days ago. It's called Seymour Stories on Instagram, at Seymour Stories. I also have the email set up, seymourstories.bda@gmail.com. If there are any illustrators out there, by all means, please
there's plenty.
Yeah, there are plenty. I also have reached out to a few of the art teachers that I'm in schools with, just to say, hey, do you have any art students that would love to do this? Because you do have children that are amazing at drawing or anything like that, but if they don't want to do it, it's the quality of it's not going to be there. I don't want to have to chase anyone down. I really just want someone that wants to do this. Someone kind of like me needs a door to open so they can start to walk through. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
And I mean, speaking personally, my daughter loves art. Like, if she could just spend her whole entire schooling drawing, she would do it. And so I'm sure that you can find, a student that has that gift, that has that talent, that, like you said, just needs the door to open for them. But no, I love that. That is so good. That's good. So going back to your training as a behavior therapist, how do you think that supported your desire to build the dictionary and now blooming
Blooming Gifts.
Blooming Gifts.
So I think it's a combination of all of my experience, I guess you can say, because I do use my drama background in my behavior therapy as far as like the playfulness, the acting, and all of that kind of stuff as well. But using those skills with writing the dictionary, writing the Blooming Gifts, I try to keep in mind on how developmentally children are learning. So as a behavior therapist, when I'm reading to a child, I'll read with different voices, different tones, pitches. I'll ask them to copy me. If the character jumped, I'll say, oh, can you show me jumping? I'll ask them to point and identify a color or repeat a phrase. Just different developmental skills that they should be hitting at certain targets. I try to just throw it out there, see where they are, to build the skill if it's not there. So I try to keep that in mind. Is there something that on each page that an adult can then ask the child for comprehension or ask them to do or ask them to identify something? And then as far as the dictionary goes, with behavior therapy, we have to be very specific when giving instructions or giving directions for things. I always use the toothbrush as an example, brushing your teeth.
Right.
If you tell someone to brush their teeth, you're going to say, go get your toothbrush, put the toothpaste on, start brushing your teeth. But as a behavior therapist, you've missed a whole bunch of instructions. I have to say, grab the toothbrush from the holder, grab the toothpaste from the holder, open the lid of the toothpaste, put the toothpaste on the bristles, close the lid on the toothpaste. But so all of those steps are very detailed that typically you take for granted that one just makes the other one happen. But for some children, it doesn't. Some children, they literally need you to tell them, open the cap of the toothpaste.
Right.
So my how-to guides, my recipes, all of those things are step-by-step how I would write my instructions, as opposed to generalizing and leaving you to figure out, well, should I be cutting this horizontally or vertically? I literally said to you, cut it horizontally 2 inches down the page. Like,
really?
You get what I'm saying?
That's so cool.
Yeah, so...
It makes me think of this video that I saw, this little boy and his dad, right? And he's reading how to make a peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah.
You've seen that video, right?
Yes.
And the thing says, put the knife in the peanut butter. And so the dad puts the butt of the knife in the peanut butter. The boy's reaction, he literally, it's like he's having a panic attack.
Yeah.
He's like, you're doing it wrong.
Right. But that's literally some people. Like, that's how some people learn.
Yes.
So I've kept that in mind, and every single how-to guide, every single recipe is thought of that way.
I think that's brilliant, especially since I think now more than ever, I don't know if it's because we're testing for it or what, but there are so many children and people who are recognizing that they learn differently, that are on the autism spectrum, some level, some way, where we take for granted that, oh, because you're not doing it the way I'm telling you to do it, even though we missed all the steps, that something must be wrong with you, when really it's just the brain is thinking differently.
Yeah.
And so being more thorough like that, I think, is gonna be great for a lot of people, because nowadays it's so many more people who think differently than what we typically thought was correct thinking or right brain thinking, left brain, I don't know. But no, I think that's great. So in terms of like who should be utilizing the dictionary, was it targeted for children, or can you envision other people, adults, utilizing this? I mean, with the recipes and stuff, I'm like, wait a minute, I can know how to make Johnny bread.
Everyone can literally utilize the dictionary, but when I first thought of it, teachers were my first.
Yes.
Teachers were my first thought. They need better resources.
Yeah.
And I don't want to keep saying that to take away from the authors and the books that are already out there. I know David Chapman, he was one of my teachers. Yeah. His collection's amazing, right? Where I'm going to be a little different from him is that he is more fact-driven, and him and his children went on explorations and stuff. Mine's, I want to be more story-based. So while the story itself is going to be fictional, all the information that's given will be factual to Bermuda. So we do have books, but there's a little gap that I think
there's plenty of room. You know what I mean?
So teachers and resourcing was my first priority, I guess you can say.
You hear that, Ministry of Education, if you're listening.
Yeah. And then it was then equally children and tourists. I am also a taxi driver.
Okay.
So
look, you got 10 jobs, man.
So I'm always just spilling information about our island. Like, I love our history. I love what we have to offer. A lot of times we say it's nothing to do in Bermuda, but people pay to come here to do so many things, right? We just have to take advantage of that. So really it was for the children to take advantage. There are a lot of children, believe it or not, who may have never been to Tuamo's jungle.
I know.
Right?
It's true.
And for me, I'm like, what do you mean you've never been there? So they're going to find out about Tuamo's jungle in my book, and then
they're
say,
gonna
Mama,
wanna
take
go.
me to Tuamo's jungle. So that's what I want to do. And then for tourists, I want them to be able to say, oh, I went here, take it back to them and say, oh, look, this is where we went, and it actually did look like this.
Yeah,
We jumped from this spot. So that was my main target. First teachers, and then children and tourists.
Yes. So I'm thinking about how we're going to get this book where you need it and how many copies you need to have on island. Have you given thought to maybe pre-selling the book?
I haven't, but that is a good idea,
You should
because
do that.
the pre-sale actually helped me get it here.
Exactly.
Because that's actually where I'm at right now. I'm like, okay, do I bring it? The feedback that I've been given, I was going to start with 50 and just see where that went. But the feedback that I've been given so far, I'm like, oh, maybe I can do 100 or 200. But then I look at the price to print 200, and then I look.
Does it go lower
No,
the
it
more?
does not.
Oh, okay.
So not with this one in particular.
Yeah.
Like, and then after this one, maybe I'll go to other publications. But for now, this is what's working for me, right? So yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah,
it will
actually,
work. I'm
that's
telling
great.
you, it will. Because I'm like, where do I sign up? Like, I'm ready now.
Right.
And so once it's here, then you're first on the list. You have a list of people who are going to come to the opening.
Right.
You
Thank
can
you
get,
for
you know,
that. Yeah.
yes, honey. Look, and mind your business. We mind all the business.
Thank you.
No, but I think that there's a great opportunity, especially now you've set up the Instagram page, so you can, use AI for now to say what it could look like. Or you said you have
the dictionary, I can show exactly what that is. I have it printed as author's copy. I have a physical copy on island.
Done and done.
Right. It's literally just this small little, the picture has to come over a little bit, but I need someone else to look at that, right? I've seen it 1,000 times.
Right.
So that's where we're at right now. I literally have a physical copy on island.
That's what we're doing. We pre-selling. Okay? I'm serious.
Thank you.
And then I would say, when you get the link or whatever it is that you have to set up to pre-sale, you can use By Bermuda, So we have an online platform. If you don't have a shopping cart, we have an online platform where you could set up your store, set up the books. It's free for now. And we act as sort of a master merchant. So you can, people can pay with their credit cards, and then at the end of the week, we give you the money.
Okay, thanks.
Without taking out anything.
Oh, wow. Right.
So we can make it happen tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay?
Yep, got you. Got some work to do tonight.
All right. No, but I love it because I think it's that important, right? I think it's important to have Bermudian voices tell Bermudian stories for our Bermudian children.
Yes.
So that they really do connect with the topic, the understanding, and all of that. And it sounds to me that you are right there with the kids. So you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have that firsthand experience to say. So, in your wildest of wildest dreams, so we're saying founder of Seymour Stories. So that means there's multiple stories.
Yes.
So right now we got the dictionary.
Yes.
We got Blooming Gifts.
Yes.
What's next?
So I have one that's also written about forts. But that one is more fact-based.
Okay.
It was very interactive, almost like a how-to guide. But Blooming Gifts came about because, again, going back to the teachers said, we have enough information books. We don't have storylines.
Yeah.
So while Forts is done, I'm not saying that it's a book yet because I know I want to take all of that and change it into a storyline.
Yeah.
I have 2 children, a girl and a boy, and so Blooming Gifts kind of reminded me very much of my daughter. She loves repurposing things to make them into gifts and giving them to people. So with the thoughts, I'm going to kind of lean more towards my son, who is very, very, very much like me, loves an adventure, anything most people call risky, risk-taking. We're there.
Like, so you're skydiving.
Yeah,
you're jumping off the cliff.
Yeah, we're going to do that, yeah. So I think that's going to be fun for him as well. But then I have a whole list. I actually have a list of, I think it's like 20 books, just broken up into different things. And like, this is what I want to teach them. Right off the bat, I can tell you that after Forts, I really, really enjoy Fort William and the gunpowder story. So I'm probably gonna do something about that in Tobacco Bay, and then I really, really want to do a book on inclusion. Bermuda, we say we try, but
we need to try harder.
Try better.
I love that.
Because we could keep trying harder, but if we're trying harder in the wrong way, it's still not better. We have to do better for inclusion. Right now, personally, I feel like we're all housed together, but we're not inclusive as in the sense of everyone's working on one accord together all the time.
Right.
Even in some of the classrooms, we can try to be inclusive, but unfortunately, we're still missing the mark.
Right.
So I do want to write a children's book that's helping to teach what inclusion should actually look like. So yeah.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
And it's exciting to know that you literally this is what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, you have these stories ready. You just need the support and all of that. And I really do think that once people see what you're trying to do, that they will jump on board. And I feel like you can get access to funding and financing that you need to get these out, especially if you're building out a whole curriculum. I'm like, why wouldn't we do this? Believe it or not, it's been 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to wrap it up, but I'll give you the opportunity to any inspiring words for anyone who's listening, future authors, future creators. What would you say to them in terms of why they should pursue their passion?
You have to pursue your passion, because if it's your passion, it's making you happy, right? The world is so crazy. There are so many things that are happening right now that you need that one little bit of happiness. And now this happiness is work. Passion is work, right? But the more work you put into it, the more rewarding you feel, right? It's like raising a baby almost, right? It's so proud of it. I think my best advice I can give to someone is try it.
Yeah.
You do not know if you like it. You don't know if it's for you. Maybe it may not even be your passion once you actually start doing it. And you may find something else that's like, oh, maybe I have to turn and curve a little bit, adjust a little bit. So try it. That's the one thing I push with my children. I always say, you can't say you don't like something until you try it. So if they're scared, I tell them channel that nervousness, that energy, and just make it push through.
Yeah.
So I do try to be an example for them, hence why I did the Pitch Perfect as well. They were helping me practice, so they saw everything going on as well. But yeah, my best advice to everyone is, if it's your passion, try it. Go for it. Go for it.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's remind people how to reach out to you, though, because they're going to be ordering this, I'm telling you.
So follow me. It's only one picture right now, but follow me at Seymour Stories on Instagram, and then seymourstories.bda@gmail.com if you have any questions or inquiries, or if you're an artist and you want to reach out to me. And when I say students, there's no age limit. I've seen a 9-year-old have some fantastic artwork.
I'm telling
so
you.
For me personally, there is no age limit whatsoever. I really, really want to immerse our children back into our culture by immersing our culture into our children, and that's what I want. So.
Thank you for minding your business with me today. And remember, if you don't mind your business, who will?
Exactly. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Was so good. Thanks for tuning in to Mind Your Business with me, your host, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in next week, Thursday at 4 p.m. because if you don't mind your business, who will? Mind Your Business is brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here.